I love seeing her eat. She was at death's door about a week ago. I really thought she was dead, and it might have been through my doing. She was doing so poorly. Her name's Bambi. Anyway, she's doing much better now. Okay, this is I think it's the 80th day of the 6th year, and windmills is my subject, the third time about that. And what you're looking at on the left is the tetrahedron that the truncated pyramid will sit on. On the right, that is not exactly a building in the making. It's more like a workstation to build it. I'll walk a little closer to it. There you can see it. It's just wired together. It would come right apart immediately into 4 pieces. As I say, this is the sort of the workstation, which I've tried to make to get ready to build more of these if I choose to. I've labeled parts so that I can put it back together. I only have it wired together. It's actually amazingly stiff. That shelf right there is where the truncated pyramid will sit, and I have it leveled up on 3 legs and minimally built, very minimally built. In other words, this piece should go through to here. There should be another piece from here to here, so it made up a 2 by 3 total. But I only put wood where I actually had to keep it light and so I could figure it out. All right, enough of that. I think I'll go inside now, and I'll show you what is to sit on top of that. Now, I guess I can't stand quite far enough back to show this all to you, but there's the truncated pyramid. Again, that's not even wired together. It's just leaning against. There's in this case 3 panels leaning against each other, and on top is the cap. Here's the cap, and it turns. Andy or my neighbor I should call him, has done some very clever work here. I think I'm going to move around to the other side because it's easier for me to, I don't know, I'm used to thinking of it this way. This is the way I drew it on the blackboard. So anyway, these parts, this will be where I'm calling them guy wires, are going to be fastened. I need to get 3 more of these, and I'll put it this way to hold that as far out as I can. That doesn't have to be fastened. This is going to be the hub, these flanges for the sweep. And Andy, my neighbor is what I should call, he did such clever work. I mean, he had me buy a piece of 4-inch black pipe because he won't weld correctly so to galvanize. And we cut it in half, or he cut it in half, threaded, I had the flanges already, threaded it on there, welded nuts, drilled holes, welded nuts, and this is what will clamp it. Those 4 may need jam nuts in there, or double nut it, I should maybe say. So anyway, he did that yesterday. Very clever work, I think. And then now here's the front bearing. This is the back bearing. This is what do you call it? A self-adjusting bearing. This is actually a pulley that's just clamped by the wood. It's just turning, so it's acting like bushing. This mechanism came out of a grinder that you crank. So, and I had it, and so this would be the brake wheel. This is the wallower, and and we framed this to receive the fantail, or the post, the tail post, if we do it from the ground. Now here he actually built what with a pickup truck or a tractor trailer would be called a fifth wheel. 2 pieces of sheet metal between 2 pieces of plywood. And about the cleverest thing about it is this. He put a 4-inch pipe through them and through flanges that he cut off a car wheel, and when it turns, this becomes the curb. I don't know if you can see it or not. It actually turns on the washers as rollers, on the washers or on the bolts, which I need to get hardened bolts for that, but which I haven't yet. And then underneath, I don't know if you can actually see it, but underneath, he sacrificed a universal joint from an extra one that he had from a socket set, a universal drive. And I'd like to try showing you under. No, that's not going to work. And so anyway, to that we can take the power down. We'll build a shelf or something in here to receive a thrust bearing to hold the shaft. And one other thing to show you here is that this is pinned. These are they're not actually, they're just running through there like pins. This is pinned to the 3 panels. All right, now over here to the sweep. This is what I'll be building today and maybe tomorrow. I worry that it's going to be too heavy. It really worries me. Now the material is quite thin. My neighbor wasn't too happy about this material because he thought it looked rotted, but I don't think so. I think it's probably just fine. But I've got to I'm calling this piece a gusset. And I think I may end up putting strips like that above it and below it, because there's one spot that made me think, there it is, I think, that it made me think I better do something like that, because it's not broken the whole way through, but it's already quite weak. This is siding off an old building. And I'll rip these down, and and then I've got to make up something that has a small hole out of plywood, a small hole, just a 3/4 inch, so that I can then go from 4, and there'll be one on the top and bottom as it lays. I'll go from 4 with this, and it won't be nearly as big. It'll maybe be only out about here, but I can go to from 4 to 6. So anyway, that's the plan. And the weight of that is going to be here. Well, that wiggling isn't so bad because the pins would hold it. That's not so bad, but I don't know. I just don't want it to make it too heavy. All right, I think you're up to date on the parts. What I intended. I could have brought some sailcloth here. What I'm going to use is sailcloth. I have lots that will do just fine. And then this is what I'll do the guy wires with, at least at first. That's the plan. All right. Bye for now.